tell you what. Um, I'm excited about this episode because I'm doing something a little different. What I did, you know what? Hold on. Let me do the intro topic where I talk some nonsense at first. Then we'll get to that part. But I'm excited. I need you to get excited. So, there's been some changes going on with me here recently. And for the better, of course, for the better. What I've done. So I've always here, at least for the last couple of years, as you get older, things just your body settles in, to what it's going to be as you get older. I'll say it. I'll say it. Let myself go a little bit. I let myself go a little bit, and I did not like the way I was feeling and or looking. I was kind of okay with how I looked. Like, I mean, it wasn't the best. I mean, you get a little, got a little tummy, so yeah. But I made a decision. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and be disciplined and try and start doing things to make myself feel better. And I've talked about this before. Because I said I started doing yoga, so it started there with just the yoga, and that made me feel better. Getting the body moving around and stretching is does wonders for someone who ain't doing a lot of it. But I decided to take a step further. Stop drinking sodas. I'm on just water. Okay. And then, I see improvements there. And I'm like, oh gosh, what else can I do? I've cut out the majority of sugar. I don't really eat like snacks and sugary shit like at all right now. And then it turned into looking at what I'm eating and trying to eat cleaner. Okay. I'm just eating fucking grilled chicken and rice. I'm really in there right now. Let me tell you what I've done. I was hanging around 188, 190. I'm down to 172 now. And I didn't think it would drop that to come off. I mean, it didn't come off like really fast, but honestly, I didn't think I would get down to that size again, as fast as I did, I guess. So I'm really happy about it, and I have no goal. But now I don't know if I need to create one now of what I want to get to. Thing is, like when you say a weight, I don't know what that weight looks like on me. So I don't know what I need. I mean, obviously, I think I'm going to get into the 160s. That'll be nice. But you're like, JC, why? What is the main goal? Why are we doing this? Let me tell you, this is not the main reason why I'm doing this. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be healthy. Okay, but this fucking like short or reel or TikTok or whatever, I've seen it a million times. And I saw it a million times before it got sent to me by a friend. And it's funny. I'm not going to say it's not funny. It is funny. But it's one of those joints where, the man is like, oh, he wants to send a dick pic to his wife or whatever, or his girlfriend. And he goes in, boom, right there. Sends it. She gets it, looks at it, and all she sees is belly. It's funny. I do find it funny. But I didn't want to be there. Okay. Now. To be fair, I wasn't there yet. Okay. I can still see my shit. Okay. Let's everybody calm down and be clear. I can still see my shit. Okay. I had some tummy going on. I could still see my shit. All right. It wasn't a problem. I just didn't want to get to a point where it's eclipsing the whole thing. Then what do you do? Like every time you use the bathroom, you're like you just feeling sad for yourself because you're like, God damn it, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I mean, it's just throwing a shadow over it, you know? Basically the only time you can see the damn thing is when you lay on your back. I mean, but no, we don't have those problems. I've lost a good amount of my stomach. I mean, I still have a little bit of one, but I'm still going. I'm still going. I'm getting in shape. We're doing it. We are doing it, and I'll be honest with you, I'm very proud of myself. Um, very proud of myself. But yeah, we don't want to get to the point where it's covering up vital organs. You know what I'm saying? A particular vital organ. Anyway, this is the JC Weekly Podcast, episode 17, I believe we are at. I was thinking the other day, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be 20 episodes in on this thing, and I'm having fun, and I don't. It's just fun getting on here and talking sometimes. So yeah, we're doing it. All right. So let me tell you what I did. This time I had a few topics in mind, and they aren't super deep topics. It's you'll see in a minute. But I was like, there's no way I can talk about this without a female perspective, okay? So what I did is I enlisted the opinions of a friend, a female friend, to give me her opinion prior to recording this. I told her the topic. She sent over her opinion. Now, to make this fun, I didn't read those first. Okay? I averted my eyes because I didn't want it to cloud or change the way I thought. I wanted to get my shit off, whether it be stupid or not, and it probably will be because I'm gonna say these jokes. And then we'll go over what she said. I have it over here on the second monitor. I have not read it yet. We're gonna read it together. We're gonna find out what her female perspective is, as it pertains to these topics. So this first topic, and I'll have a little lead up to it. First topic was, here's the lead up to it and how I got to the topic. But has anybody heard like old folks say do the do? Okay. Like, they you're gonna do the do, they talk about sex. Like, where do things like that come from? Like, why are we calling it the do? Do the do. I mean, that was a slogan for a drink later on. But but then you think about, look, wait, where did like the actual saying like doing it? Like, hey, you want to do it? Like, can you imagine the first time somebody was together and they kissing and they touching and shit like that? It's back whenever. And she's like, hey, he's like, hey, you want to do it? And they're like, do it. Do what? I thought we was having a good time here. What's it? And then there's an explanation. I'm like, hey, we got it. That's what we're calling it. We can't call it, sex. I guess we're doing it. Why was there a need to put such a label like not call it what it is? Well, why do we feel like we need? Is this society? And this is the way it is. The filtering of society of not calling things what they are. Oh, they doing it. They doing the do, But that got me thinking about doing the do. And it reminded me of a situation, not a situation, a moment from high school where I, as a young man, was being explained to by another young man about the three types of intercourse, if I may. So, obviously, there's sex, there's making love, and then there's fucking. I think that's a universal thing where everyone's like, oh, these are the three types of us intercourse situations here. Okay. He was adamant that they're all different. Okay, he was adamant they were all different. And I'm not going to disagree at this moment. Let's talk it through a bit. I think that honestly, sex and making love are closer together than we want to talk and we want to admit. Okay, sex and making love are almost the same thing. Because you're like, oh, I'm having sex with my wife. I mean, you're probably making love with your wife. I mean, unless y'all get down like that, y'all might be fucking. Like sex and making love, they're bam, they're right beside each other, they're holding hand in hand. So I feel like we could almost make this a 2-column situation. And then there's fucking. Like that's always represented as one of those things you do with not someone. This is how it's represented, of course. Not someone like you. This is a one night stand type deal. This is like, oh, we get together and we just have some fun type deal. But some folks like to have their intercourse that way. They want to be fucked. And honestly, if you really want to think about this and let's be a little mature, and I have my jokes later. It's graduations, okay? It's graduations. Like I feel like when if you first meet somebody and you actually start dating, it's not a one night stand deal. Like you're having sex, okay? And then you get to know each other. You're having sex / making love, possibly. Might not be at the making love part, but but you're getting to know each other, what each other likes. And sometimes women like to, like, some women might make a little rougher, a little faster, a little harder. And so that sex / making love is going to turn into fucking. At least it's some portion of your activities. That's what's going to happen. So I don't know if we can say that we're going to do. We're gonna just separate these up into like certain situations. I feel like they might can be used all in the same night. All just do all of them. How about that? Correct me if I'm wrong though. But no, honestly, let's do this. Let's do this. As young men, I'm gonna say we are probably doing more fucking than anything. Starting from whenever you start, a teenager or in your early 20s, whenever you start, you're going to be doing a lot of fucking. Because fucking is such a harsh word, right? It's rough around the edges, right? So early on in your sexual career, you're gonna be you're gonna be a little rough around the edges, and we're going to use the term people like to use. We're going to jackrabbit. We're going to go as fast as possible because we're working towards a goal. The goal is usually our enjoyment, not so much the woman's enjoyment. So I feel like fucking is a lot of young men are doing some fucking, not a lot of sex and making loving. Just what I'm saying. That's what I think. Now, as you get older, it's not to say you're not doing some fucking. There's some fucking being done out there. The situations where it's causing some fucking. I don't, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you about me personally. I don't care if we in love or not. We gonna be making love. We are gonna be making love because we ain't going fast. All right. I once had a female tell me, "Oh, she hates missionary because she doesn't like the person like looking into their eyes." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna tell you what. If you lay down with me, I'm gonna be all up in there. I'm looking through your soul, and we going slow missionary. All we not say that we ain't gonna change position. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's going, nice and slow. Like Usher. You gotta take it nice, nice and slow. Like we might not be in love, but we gonna be making some love. All right. That's and in all honesty, you've heard me say it in previous episodes. Hey, I ain't done nothing in a long time, so it ain't gonna be a slow nothing. It's gonna be a good minute and a half of something. because of the long gap in activity. But it's going to be a minute and a half or something. I don't know what we're going to classify that as, but disappointing, I guess. But no, yeah, me, and this is not me saying like I'm going to be the best lover in the world. Cause that's not. I'm not a braggadocious person about that at all. I'm just saying, if I'm gonna be, if I'm in this situation, like we're gonna throw the fucking out the window, okay? We're gonna slide it to the back. If that's something you request, maybe we can slide that in a little bit at the end. I'm just saying, we're gonna take it nice and slow. Takes, a nice, methodical, deep strokes. That's too much. Let me stop. That is too much. No, it's not that kind of broadcast. Okay. Stop talking about and getting me to do that. All right. I think that was a pretty, for a man, that was a pretty well thought out answer. But now we're gonna get the woman's point of view. Megan is gonna let us know what she thinks. Now I'm just gonna read her shit. I'm gonna read exactly what it says. She does think there's a difference between sex, making love, and fucking. It's all the same act physically, but the intention behind it changes everything. Sex can just be sex, cool, casual, no deep attachment. Some don't let sex affect them. Some get caught up. Reason people say sex complicates things. Making love feels more intentional, more emotional, like you're actually connected to that person beyond the moment. Fucking, that's more about energy and release than connection, in my opinion. Nothing wrong with it, but it's definitely not the same vibe. People confuse being nasty as fucking, but what's nasty is the question. Or a wham bam, thank you, man, 1 to 2 minutes, screw him, but that's just considered a quickie or a whack sex. See, you're not gonna be. We're not gonna be bad mouthing, okay? It's. I've said my situation, okay? Gosh, we're not gonna be doing that. I'm not gonna let you do that on this broadcast. Consider it a quickie or whack sex. Don't confuse the two. I almost think she's saying it a little bit what I'm saying. I'll be honest with you. I think we're almost saying the same. She's just way better at articulating it and like putting some emotion and feelings into it and shit like that. I really think that we're pretty close on what we're saying here. Oh yeah, I'm reading. Yeah. See. Okay. See, women and men aren't that too far apart. See, I was hoping she would be like drastically different than, because I was on some joke shit. I was like just but I feel like we're right there. We're right there. Okay, we're seeing eye to eye on this a little bit. All right. I didn't appreciate the shot at me on okay the 1 to 2 minutes. I didn't appreciate that, but I'm gonna let that slide. Okay, um, but yeah, I mean, it's funny that would be even a topic of discussion when you're like 18, like between sex, making love, and fucking. Most people ain't in love. A lot, some might be having sex, but most of them fucking. Most, and that's what it's always referred to as fucking. It's never referred to, oh, we had sex. Oh, like, oh, we fucked. It's never that. It's always the not as a. It's not sensual, and it's not two people enjoying that moment together, and instead they're more focused on the gratification at the end than the journey of those two people. The adventure going to that end. I think that's where we need, that's the important part. Like that's why I say, like, for me, like that turns me on more. Like, seeing the woman involved, seeing her, she's locked in with me, and we're on this trip together, enjoying each other's physical, emotional, sensual company. And I guess if they request a little bit of fucking, then we'll slide that in. Okay, we'll slide that in. But yeah, I was really hoping that we'd have differing, but I feel like we almost kind of said the same thing. Sex does complicate things, though. Sex does complicate things. Because people like to say that sex doesn't like, say we're friends and we're like, oh, we can have sex or be friends with benefits or whatever, and it's no big deal. Like, I don't want a relationship. Like, it's sex in itself is a relationship. Like, once you do that with some, I'm gonna pull that back a little bit. Because some folks can be going out here having one night stands and shit like that. But let's just keep it in that realm of friends that have had sex or do have sex on occasion, don't want a relationship with each other. Like, at some point, like, you do get feelings from somebody starts to swirl around. Especially if you really enjoy the time in the bedroom and all the time outside the bedroom. And like, at some point in time, like, oh, you're gonna think, why aren't we just dating? you know, feelings definitely come along with the sex. While we're talking about feelings, this is one that has haunted me for most of my life. And it's another simple topic. And the reason I thought of it was because I saw, when I read the five love languages book, it mentioned this. I'm talking about being in love versus loving someone. Of course, if you ask any woman in the world, we'll see what Megan has to say here, but they're going to say, yes, in love and loving is two different things for whatever reason. I've always argued with myself on what I believe and how I feel about that. Because I'm not so sure, because I've trouble with some emotions sometimes. It seems to all just meld together and not be because I don't believe in love at first sight and shit like that. I don't believe in like that. I feel like that's kind of fairy tale type stuff, and I'm just not sure. There's such I want there to be an in love, right? An in love thing, but I do believe in loving. Like you can love someone. And when I read the five love languages, they said for like the first 2 years is like the honeymoon period in relationships. This is the in love period, right? This is when like all just head over heels for each other, just really locked in with each other. You're just in love, but then after that, that kind of fades away. That honeymoon period fades away, and you don't feel that same uh in love magnetism between the two, but you still love each other, and you just go on through life, just loving each other. I'm like, that makes so much sense to me. That makes so, because like at the beginning, like the infatuation with that person is there, right? And so everything's running red hot. But over time, I feel like it's got to dull, right? This is an educated man who wrote this book. I'm assuming he knows. I don't know. Better than myself, who's a person who's emotionally inept. But that's why I've always questioned, like, are these two things different? Is it just a thing that starts one way with, and then fades to one other thing, or is it just not different at all? And society has just decided to use these words, however they please when it comes to relationships. I don't know. Honestly, this is one like I don't really know if I don't know. Going into this, I thought I did. I thought I was dead set on saying that there's no such thing as being in love. It's just there's just loving. You can love someone, but I'm thinking back to the definite like what the book said, and it makes sense to me. Like at the beginning, we'll call that section in love like that because it's so fueled by infatuation and the newness of it, and just learning everything about each other, and just and then it just slowly just dwindles down, and not to the point where like you don't want to be each other, but it just goes down into like okay, we're just settling into this now. We just love each other. But yeah, so let's get to Megan's response. Let's see what she has to say. Being in love and loving someone are not the same to me at all. Okay. Being in love is a feeling strong, consuming, exciting, but feelings can change. Loving someone is a choice. It's how you treat them, how you show up, how you stay when things aren't perfect. You can be in love with someone and still not treat them right. Hold on. Let me reread that. You can be in love with someone and still not treat them right. And you can love someone deeply even when you're not in love with them anymore. I do think women tend to separate those things a little more emotionally, but honestly, it really comes down to emotional maturity, not gender. Okay, she has a couple things to unpack here. I wasn't surprised that she thinks they are two different things, because I do think 99% of women think this. The line that I got caught up on there, which I'm still caught up on right now, I'm rereading it over and over again. You can be in love with someone and still not treat them right. The thing of it is, like, when relationships start to go south and say you cheated or whatever, and like there's arguments and you're like, no, don't leave me, I'm in love with you, blah blah blah. And it's like how can you be? You treated you look how you treated me. when those situations happen where you was the person who did the cheating really in love? You can be in love with someone and still not treat them right. You know what? I might need to flesh that out a little bit. Because I feel like, that's definitely the situation that would happen. So you just say there was some cheating going on. You say no, I'm in love with you. Don't leave me. And they're like, how can you be in love with me? Look at what you've done. And what can you say to that? You're like, fair enough, And you can love someone deeply even when you're not in love with them. Okay, I agree with that part. You can definitely can love someone deeply even when you're not in love with them anymore. Not even the anymore part. Just like just in general. Just cut it off there. I think they tend to separate those things a little more emotionally. But honestly, it really comes down to emotional maturity, not gender. I think it sounds like we probably are at odds on this. I think we might disagree, but of course, I'm still not sure either anyway. But I think she has a clear image of their clear thought in her mind of what it is. And yeah, I need a little more fleshed out, to be honest with you. I love to, pick her brain on that right there. Mm, mm. You can love someone deeply even when you're not in love. Loving someone is a choice. Loving someone is a choice. I mean, is it? Is that a good way to define this? Loving someone's a choice. Like you've decided. I mean, is it really a choice though? I mean, I feel like over time, time and familiarity and a lot of things can have you loving someone. I don't know if is it a choice though? The choice is how you treat them, how you show up, how you stay when things aren't perfect. Okay. Okay. I see the choice. Okay. I see where the choice part is coming in there. It's how you're choosing to treat them, how you choose to show up, how you choose to stay when things aren't perfect. That, okay. Oh, she might be cooking a little bit. I hate her. This is why I got her. This is why I got her, because she's way more emotionally mature than I am, and she can articulate better than I can. I'm just up here for comic relief. Being in love is a feeling, strong, consuming, exciting. But I mean, can we take those words as a feeling, strong, consuming, exciting? Okay, can that be just infatuation? Can that be actually what the book says? In those first handful of years, it's just infatuation, and then it moves down. Then we're just moving down to love. I think there's a good argument. I think there's a good argument for that. All right. I can't dissect this any longer. And Megan, we're going to get you a mic or something, because I need you to say these things out loud. We need to argue these through on here or something. I don't know, but we're going to do this again. I like this. We're going to do this again. Anyways, this was the JC Weekly podcast. Please, tell me what you think down in the comment section. I want to hear all about it, because I feel like these can really be fleshed out by a lot of different opinions and be fun to hear what y'all think. But until next time, peace.